It's another book haul. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a hot minute since I've uploaded a book haul, but it's been not that long since I filmed a book haul. It's just that I'm always tend to be behind on my editing, but I'm ahead for my recording for my videos. I tend to pre-record and then I tend to just have like a bunch of videos in my library that I have to edit, but I just never have the time to edit. So this will be my October book haul. I think I never uploaded my September book haul. So if timing goes correctly, I would edit that video first before I edit this video. Now for this book haul, I'm not going to show you my eBay book haul because I have a lot and I don't want to spend forever filming for this book haul. So I'm just going to focus on the titles that I purchased myself and also titles that authors were so kindly to send to me or publishers were so kindly to send to me. So let's go ahead and get started. So I think I'm just going to start off with like this random stack of Gail Callan's books that I purchased because one time I was betting on this lot of Gail Callan books from eBay and then I realized that I was going to lose. It was going to cost like a ton of money and then I let the person win the lot. But I wanted to get these books, so I picked these books up for new. So the first book that I purchased is Return of the Viscount. This one has no step back and no back cover. But this book is about a girl who is destitute. She has no money. She has no anything left. Like she only has like probably like her title and she's just trying to live and marry someone who's willing to take her, and she's willing to settle for an older gentleman who's like literally like twice her age, but she's surprised that a Viscount wants her hand in marriage, and little does she know that the Viscount actually owes her father a great debt, so that's why he's marrying her. Now the next Gail Callan book that I bought is No Ordinary Groom, and this is about a girl who is engaged to this man that she thinks that is going to be daring, adventurous, like handsome and everything. But the fiance that she's engaged to is everything except for that he's kind of boring and he's not adventurous and he sucks when it comes to fashion and he's dressing up really weird. But our hero is actually an undercover spy, and after coming back from his latest mission, he has basically lost all consciousness of like what is in society and what is out in fashion. So he's very like different from all the other men. So our female heroine is very confused by his actions and his fashion choices and the way that he says things. And I feel like that this one's going to be a very fun historical romance involving a lot of like misinterpretations, miscommunications, and I think it's just gonna be really cool and interesting. Now the next book that I picked up is Redemption of the Duke, and now this one is about a man who is basically a ladies' man and then he has to reform himself because a great tragedy has occurred, and then now he has to help out the one woman that he owes a great debt to, and he gives her the job of taking care of his great aunt, and this is kind of like their romance and the blossoming of their relationship. Now the next book that I picked up is A Most Scandalous Engagement, and this is featuring a heroine who's kind of reckless and she doesn't follow the rules of society, but now she wants to reform herself so that she can settle down into a marriage. Little does she know that she will be engaged to a loveless marriage and she'll be betrothed to a fiance that she does not care about. So in hopes to save herself from this marriage, she is willing to beg her childhood best friend for help. Now the last romance I picked up from Gail Callan is The Beauty and the Spy. So this is another spy romance, and I think this is actually part of the spy series that I have hauled in my haul so far, and this one is about a hero who is a undercover spy for the crown, and he has to disguise himself as a criminal, and then because our female heroine has kind of like stepped in too far and like overheard something at the ball, he has to kidnap her in order to protect her and also in order to protect the mission so the mission doesn't fail. Now the next book that I picked up is actually a new historical romance that just came out last month. This one's called The Duke Effect. It's part of the Rogue Files series by Sophie Jordan, and I love Sophie Jordan. I haven't created a guide to Sophie Jordan yet, but I should because I read a bunch of her books for the historical romance readathon, and also because I just really like her books. Like her books are just very romantic, they're kind of cheesy, and they have a lot of chemistry and tension between the hero and heroine. So now this book is actually about a female physician who disguises herself as her late father because back then nobody would take her seriously if she is a woman and she is a doctor. So if she pretended to be a male, lots of people would pay more attention to her and actually follow her medical advice. So when our main hero actually comes to go get the doctor to save the woman that raised him growing up as a child, he is shocked and he is upset that the doctor is actually a female, and he's actually more upset the fact that he's strongly attracted to her, but he's willing to expose her and everything. In order to save her chance of actually performing as a doctor and continue her practice, she decides to bet him that she can give him results to help save the woman that raised him. Now, the next book that I have is from Lenora Bell, and this one is gorgeous, and it's gorgeous because you can see here her name is holographic. So this one is called Love is a Rogue, and I think this is the first book in her series of Wallflowers versus Rogues, and I think a lot of you guys really like the Wallflower like romance type where the girl is shy and bookish, and then our hero comes in and kind of like makes her blossom and like, you know, shows her that she has fun sides and that she could be lively and everything. So this one is about a female heroine who is very smart, she's very bookish, and she is writing a dictionary actually. But the problem is that the Gothic mansion that she is writing her dictionary in and where all her resources are is actually being under renovation, and that's kind of disturbing her peace and quiet when she needs to finish writing this dictionary. So our hero actually owes a favor to our heroine's brother, so that's why he has to renovate the mansion. And then this is kind of like a forced close proximity storyline where they kind of have to work together under this Gothic mansion, and while they're both working on separate projects but also fighting for their attention between each other. So the next historical romance that I picked up is from Liz Carlisle, and now this one is a author that I haven't tried before, but I have a couple of her books on my shelf. So this one's called In Love with a Wicked Man, and the step back is gorgeous for this one. I absolutely love it. And this one is about a woman who is very pristine. She is very kept together, and she needs to be kept together because she's taking care of her younger sister. So she has never lived a reckless life ever before, and she doesn't have a reckless bone in her body. But when a man shows up to her door and he needs help or else he's not going to survive, she decides to bring him in, and that's like the most reckless thing she's ever done, and she decides to actually take care of him. And our hero comes from a scarred background where he doesn't trust anybody anymore, and he hardly asks for help, and he uses his intelligence so that he can survive the rough world out there. But little did he know that he would actually fall in love with his savior. So I'm excited to read this cozy romance too as well. So here's the next book that I picked up. It's from Kathy Maxwell, and if you guys haven't watched my eBay book haul yet, I don't know where I uploaded it, but I hauled a lot of Kathy Maxwell books and they were fabulous. So I'm on the hunt to collect more Kathy Maxwell books, but honestly, like, I have read a couple books by her and they were okay, but I'm still interested in reading her books. So this one is called His Secret Mistress, and now this one seems like it's a very scandalous and maybe a little bit angsty historical romance. It follows a girl who basically shared one night with our hero, and then they kind of fate intervened and they separated their ways and it ruined her. And then afterwards, now a couple years later, she is a famous actress, but then she is together with her main hero again, and now this is kind of like their second chance romance. So continuing on with our thriller high, I ended up purchasing another thriller at Walmart because I was shopping at Walmart and I got kind of bored and I wanted to buy something to treat myself with because obviously I don't treat myself enough. So this one's called Confessions on the 745. I received an e-arc of this from HarperCollins Canada, but I never got around to reading it because I'm behind on my arcs. But I wanted to buy the physical copy because I tend to like to read my thrillers with physical copies better anyways, and audiobooks. This one, I really like the premise of this one because she's always on the train at 7:45. And when I used to go to work in the office and I didn't have to work from home, I would always take the train around this time. And I love train like thrillers because I live that life, so I know exactly what's gonna happen, or at least like whatever. Because if you start taking transportation at the same time every single day with the same destination, you're gonna start noticing the same people that have the same schedules as you, and they're not gonna know who you are, but they're gonna recognize your face, and they're gonna find comfort that they see your face every morning. I'm gonna move on to my fun contemporary books that I have picked up now, and some are also from publishers. This one is Sophie Kinsella's Love Your Life. So New to my channel, hello, I love Sophie Kinsella. She is my queen. She's my romantic comedy queen. She is my #1 auto-buy author. I don't care how expensive her books are. I want to collect them. And also her new paperbacks that are being released with new covers. I'm telling myself, do not get them because I already have multiple copies of her books and her editions. But this one's her latest romantic contemporary novel that came out this year, Love Your Life. I have no idea what's it about, and unfortunately, I'm not going to tell you what it's going to be about because I want to walk into this book not knowing so that Sophie can work her magic and convince me if it's a good book or a mediocre book. So the next book that I have to show you is actually a book I purchased myself called All About Us by Tom Allen. And now this one is described to me by the publicist as kind of like a Christmas novel that travels back in time. So there's time travel play in this. This one is about a man who made a decision to kiss his best friend and then kind of leave her and then go and develop this relationship with this different girl. And then now, so many years later, he is starting to see that the relationship is not perfect and that they're actually on the rocks. And he's shocked when he goes to sleep one night and he wakes up and it's back to 2005, the day he kissed his best friend. And now he gets to make the decision of whether or not he wants to fight for his best friend and to have a relationship with his best friend, or to continue the life that he originally chose and that he already lived. So the next book that I have to haul is actually a book that I already hauled in my paranormal romance vlog, but it's in my stack, so I'm going to talk about it again. This one's called The Miseducation of Henry Kane by Charles Brooks, and this one is about a filthy rich man, but he's like a man-child who has been taken care of all of his life by his super rich parents. And now his parents are going on vacation and he's kind of living by himself in his great mansion, and this is the story of him finding himself with all his riches. So the next few books that I have to show you is actually graphic novels that were sent to me from Scholastic Canada, and I'm so excited to read these ones because I want to do a graphic novels video where I try middle grade graphic novels. So now the first series that I want to show you is this one called Not Enough by Maria Skirvan, and now this one is the second book, which is called Forget Me Not. And from the very general premise that I've learned about this book is that it's about a girl who has a crush on a guy, but then things don't work out or things do work out, and it gets more complicated with that. And I think, like a lot of middle grade novels that I have read, it involves deeper issues than what I'm describing to you, and that there's probably family and social issues as well as everything that Nat has to deal with when she's growing up as a child. Now the second book that I have to show you is Twins, and now this one is by Varian Johnson and Shannon Wright, and this one is about two girls who are obviously twins, and I feel like that they hate each other. They hate each other and they don't have the best relationship. And I think they used to be best friends, but they had a fight, and then now this is kind of separating them. And it looks from the back of this book, you can already see that they are pitting against each other and they're probably voting against each other for an election in their schools. So I'm excited to see how this plays out, and I want to read this book because its own voices and also because it features a lot of diverse characters and a diverse cast. Now the next book that I have to show you is actually a Christmas novel because I was on a Christmas novel buying high, so I decided to purchase this one. This one's called The 12 Dates of Christmas by Jenny Bayliss, and now this one was kind of expensive to purchase because there was no deals, and I was just like, am I gonna like it? I hope I do like it because now it's expensive. So this one is about a girl who hasn't been in a relationship for a long time, and she wants to get into a relationship by Christmas. So that's why it's called The 12 Dates of Christmas, and she kind of goes on these series of fun dates. Now the next book that I have to show you is actually a book that I've already read and talked about. So this one's called Misotoe and Mr Right, and this one I really, really enjoyed. This one's by Sari McGunther, and she wrote the book The Tourist Attraction that I didn't really like. So The Tourist Attraction, I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, but this one I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. And I was pleasantly surprised by how much I like this one a lot more. This one features a girl who is an heiress, basically. She comes from a super rich family, and she is trying to prove herself and her worth and her intelligence in the family business. So she is responsible for taking care of this small town that this story is actually set in and this series is actually set in. And her family has these property developments and plans in place to kind of mow down the whole city and reinvent itself so that it's more consumer friendly and more tourist friendly. And she is there to do her research and investigations to see if it's a profitable project to do. And there she meets this stoic guy who is the complete opposite of her because he doesn't really talk that much, but they have this instant attraction for each other, and this is them growing close together and falling in love. It's a definitely slow burn romance, but I really enjoyed it, and I really like how strong our female character was. Now, the next book that I got was actually sent to me from the author herself. So this one's from Melissa Ferguson. This one is called the Cuda Sack War, or the Cuda Sack War, and this one is about a girl who hasn't lived a very steady life. She's been hopping job to job. She's been doing things that doesn't really follow the plan in life, and her parents are kind of fed up with it because her parents have to financially support her and also emotionally support her at times when she does things that doesn't really make sense and cause her more harm than good. And now her parents give her an ultimatum, and it's basically like, if you stay in this one place and you hold down this one job for a year, you get to keep your grandmother's house that you love so much. And so she's willing to sacrifice all her like free spirits to remain in this one place for a long time. Little did she know that she would have a hot enemy to lovers romance with the guy next door. Now, the next book that I have to show you is Crazy Stupid Bromance by Alyssa K. Adams. And now this one is the third book in her Bromance book club series, and I'm excited to read it. But the second book in the series, I actually didn't really like it. So that's why I've been putting a hold on this book and I haven't been reaching for it. So this one is about a best friends to lovers romance. This one is about a girl who owns a cat cafe and she needs help. And the only help that she can probably get is from her best friend, who is an expert hacker, an expert computer expert. Lots of experts here. And this is their kind of their romance. I'm excited to see how it folds out. Alyssa K. Adams has a knack for writing really enticing and very entertaining chick lit novels. So the next book that I have to show you is this adorable book that I picked up randomly when I saw it on the bookstore's website. This one's called All I Want for Christmas by Wendy Loggia. And this one is about a girl who loves the holidays. So she really does count down the days to Christmas. She does all her Christmas baking. She puts up all her Christmas decorations. But the one thing that she really wants this Christmas is actually someone to kiss under the mistletoe. So she's not sure who is perfect for her, but she knows that, you know, the star athlete at her school isn't the perfect guy for her, right? And also the mysterious boy that just showed up to school with a British accent shouldn't be her crush, right? I don't know. So this one is kind of like a love triangle romance, and I'm excited to see how it plays out, and I want to see who really wins her heart in the end. So the next YA romance or YA contemporary novel that I picked up is Chasing Lucky by Jen Bennett, and I talked about this book in my paranormal romance reading vlog, but I'll talk about it again here because I'm excited for Jen Bennett's books. So this one is about a girl who moves into a small town after her mom picks up and like moves her there, and she has to follow along, and she is running a bookstore or something like that, and then she meets the town bad boy, and this is kind of their romance. The next book that I have to show you is The Key to Happily Ever After by Tiff Marcello, and a lot of my friends have actually read this book. So Bree Hill has actually read this book, and she didn't give it a good high rating because it read more like a women's fiction novel as opposed to a romantic comedy. So I'm already walking into this book knowing that the romance is going to be a slow burn and it's not really going to be the main focus and plot line. And this book is only going to probably focus on the three sisters who inherited a wedding planning business, and they're in over their heads and they don't know like how to manage the evil bridezillas and also all the planning arrangements. So I'm excited to read this book because it is a diverse novel. It features a Filipino cast and it's also from a Filipino American author, and I haven't been reading a lot of Filipino authors lately, so I want to pick this up soon. Now, the last book that I have to show you is actually a book that was sent to me from HarperCollins Canada, and this one's called Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. And now this book features a woman who is 40 years old, and she once had a lot of dreams and she accomplished a lot, but now she is living a completely different life than she has ever imagined, because when she was a teenager, something happened and it kind of triggered her to not fulfill her true destiny and to kind of like go into this life that she is in right now that she's not too content with. So I'm excited to read this book. It's quoted as a spiky, sharp, and intriguingly dark and tender novel. But anyways, that is it for my October book haul. Hopefully you guys enjoyed all the books that I had to show you, and hopefully you guys had some books to add to your TBR. But until next time, I'll see you guys again. Bye.